Hello, my name is Mark Smith. I'm the industrial technology teacher at Reed Custer High School, and we are doing a series on how can industry get involved with a school, whether it's post-secondary or like myself at the secondary level. We've had 2 episodes before this. This is the 3rd episode. And so in this episode, we're assuming that after a certain amount of time, that's going to depend on the school, it's going to depend on your circumstance, but after a certain amount of time, you've probably been able to make contact with a school. And you maybe have some contact names, and you now can begin talking with the school district. Well, one of the first things you can do is you can have a meeting with the teachers. Maybe there's one teacher, maybe there's a whole panel of them, depending on how big the school is. And you can start by asking, what do you need? You know, when I first graduated out of college, one thing I definitely knew was I did not know enough to be a wood manufacturing teacher. Now, I had a great high school teacher, Mr. Hart, Jonathan Hart. He taught for, my gosh, 30, 35 years. He was teacher of the year every year. I loved his program. And so I had a great beginning, but not everybody has that background. But even then, it wasn't enough because Mr. Hart was doing what he'd been trained to do. And by the time he had gotten to the end of his career, what he was doing was starting to get a little outdated. And so when I graduated from college, I knew that, wow, I do not know enough to do justice to running a wood manufacturing program. And so I started, before I taught, I worked in some areas that were related to wood manufacturing. And once I did start teaching, I contacted industry all the time, and I asked questions, and I went out and toured their places, and I educated myself as much as I could to have a better understanding of what I should be teaching. Well, if you've been following the teacher shortage in the United States, Illinois is in the same bucket. We can hardly find teachers, let alone teachers in a specialty area like, wood manufacturing. And so they've had to do all kinds of creative things to get teachers in the door. And so the teachers that are coming through the door today sometimes are even less educated than I might have been. And so they need lots of help. And so, like we said at the beginning, you can start by asking, what do you teachers need from us? And they might have one thing they might need a lot of things. And so that's a good starting place, meeting with the teachers and asking them what they need. Another thing you can do is you can offer training at your facility for the teachers. I can't tell you how many companies I've gone to for tours, or how many companies I've worked at or gone there for just a day, and they have offered me free training, because let's face it, I'm not their competitor. I'm a high school teacher. I'm not opening my own company, and I'm not, doing some high-tech thing that only this company I looked at knows how to do. I'm not really the competition, so there isn't too much reason why they're not generous to me with their time. And so that's another thing you can do, is you can offer training, because one of the things I say in my program all the time, there's a difference between teachers who have just gone to college and have never worked in the areas they teach, and teachers who have worked in that area. Working in the area, of course, opens up a whole new realm of understanding compared to just reading it out of the book, even though you can be a good teacher if you've just read it out of the book. So offering teacher training at your facility to one of these new teachers you've met would be great. The other thing you can do, and this is the final one, is if you're aware of the WCA, the Woodwork Career Alliance, they have the only skill standards that have been written for the wood industry. Now, they're not complete, but they have a huge start on it. There's like 250 machines that they've written skill standards for. Now, in industry, you may not understand the term skill standard, even though you know what the word skill means and you know what the word standard means. But skill standards are essential in the education world, where we have to write curriculum, we have to base things around a measurable, observable skill. And so if your company is aware of the Woodwork Career Alliance skill standards, you can offer opportunities for the teachers to come out and get trained based on those skill standards. At least in the state of Illinois, if you don't have a certification associated with your CTE program, your Career and Technical Education program, you're in a precarious state because they're clamping down more and more on CTE programs and what they expect. And one of the things that the state wants is a certification to go with your program. And so at my high school, at Reed Custer High School, we use the saw blade certification that the Woodwork Career Alliance offers. And so, you know, a lot of the things I've taught myself, a lot of the things industry has taught me. I've also received training from the WCA, but let me tell you, you never have enough training. And so that is a third way that you can offer to help the CTE teacher, and that is to offer training at your facility. You can show them how to use certain tools, or you can ask them what tools they'd like training on, and you can really begin to build a mutually beneficial relationship. So that's the third episode and how industry can get involved with schools. Look forward to the next one, and have a great day, everybody.